Good morning, everybody. Orange J here with another War of the Visions video, and today we are going to talk about the Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers collaboration coming to Global War of the Visions this Wednesday. And obviously, the big theme of this video is going to be, should you mess with any of this stuff with Final Fantasy VI 1 week away? Because we all know FF6 is the pin in the calendar. Everybody's been targeting that, saving Visior. There's people in my guild that have 150,000 Visior saved up. I've seen screenshots of people with 200,000 Visior saved up. You all have taken that Stay Strong motto to the bank. So, should the FF14 collaboration leech a little bit of that from you? Should you spend any of that for this collab? We're going to look at the things we're getting, because it's 4 vision cards and 2 EX units. There's actually a ton of stuff coming with this. Is it any good? And should you spend on it? That's what we're going to look at, and we're going to start with Thancred. Now, Thancred is a hell of a place to start, because he's a 100 cost unit, and of our 100 cost units in Global, consistently the most bemoaned, right? Like, yeah, he needed a lot of love to become viable. And like, let's not even talk about good. Let's just stick with viable. Does he get it? First, let's look at what he's getting for stat upgrades. His HP is getting a big upgrade. 3672, upgrading all the way to 5069, over 5,000. This is good. He's meant to be a bruiser, particularly an anti-physical bruiser, 5,000 HP. Okay. His attack gets a massive jump. 421 already didn't suck. 642 is really good. So his attack gets a nice big upgrade there. I like that. He also catches 5 agility. Where was this? Where was this for Eileen's? Anyway, we're not talking about Eileen today. She's always in my mind. 56 agility bumping up to 61 is a nice upgrade. This does put him in par with what a modern bruiser would like. He gets some dex and luck. He also catches 4 more defense. Base 8 up to base 12. And if you're just looking at this dude in terms of raw stats, he looks powerful, right? You can see how when he released at the very beginning of War of the Visions, the developers just were like, hey, we're going to give this guy a bunch of stats. Particularly, look at his resist. If you're going anti-physical, you've got 20 slash resist, 5 pierce resist, 35 strike resist, 20 missile, and minus 30 magic. Oh man, they had to hit him with the Engelbert treatment, give him minus 30 magic resist. That's an ouch. He does, however, have ways of dealing with that minus 30 magic resist. So let's look at his kit next. Let's scope him out. I want to point out a couple things on this like landing page here. One, I think the Bodyguard's coat with light resistance 15 is a pretty decent candidate for a TMR to tweak out when we get the TMR stones, whatever they're called. Trust stones is what it's going to be called in Global. I think this is a pretty decent piece of gear to look at. It's cloth, 540 HP, 10 defense, and 10 evade is a nice stat pool to start building around with stones, and light resistance 15. That's good. So I do think if you get this guy for free, which we're all getting him, and you get enough of his shards for free to level him to 99, that in and of itself is worth investing in just to have access to this TMR to potentially tweak out with the trust stones later for some of your builds. Also, his master ability gets a big hookup here. I'm gonna go ahead and we're looking at the JP Thancred right here. It says global on my screen. Anyway, it threw me off. His master ability. It was originally HP 10% slash attack 10. When the game first came out, that was okay. It obviously didn't age well. Here's what it is now. Blasting Zone, skill upgrade, 10% HP, 15 light attack for his light ally. So he is getting that light element master ability. All units that are getting upgrades needs this. He gets that, good for mono light. HP 20% now instead of the original 10. Slash attack 10, that stays the same. And then attack 150. So this is what's building up those like raw stats that we saw on his page. A lot of that's coming from his master ability, but he's also crucially getting the elemental group buff and an upgraded skill. If we look at his skills, particularly his EX upgrades, what are they doing to modernize him? Let's start with camouflage. This is a 15% missile resistant buff. And if we go back to this page right here, he's already sitting at 20. 15 more puts him at 35. That's really good. If you're going for like an anti-missile team, that's nice. And now it also gives defense pin 40. One of Thancred's biggest weaknesses in the game right now, like pre this, is he just like seemed like he should hit a lot harder than he was. Units without defense pin felt that way. Here's 40 defense pin, this is helping. And it's 40 defense pin on a support ability that you kind of wanted to run anyway. The rest of his support abilities are a little out there. You do have some options though. You can go full on anti-physical and add 15 more pierce resist. You can go basically more bruiser with 15% more HP, or you can try to cover his magic resist with Mage's Blessing from Red Mage sub. Oh boy, Red Mage sub on a physical bruiser. Anyway, it does have 15 magic resist, which is decent. And then initial AP 15 also isn't terrible. I guess that's why he got Red Mage, because the rest of it makes no sense. Anyway, counter ability, he also has magic evasion from Red Mage. Maybe this is the other reason they thought Red Mage was a good sub, and I hope whoever thought that is no longer. Anyway, I'm not going to try and fire people. You might run this. Honestly, if you're fighting against mixed damage teams, magic evasion might be the way to, magic reflex might be the way to go. Otherwise, I really do like Dragon Sword. A counter ability that absorbs HP is really good on a bruiser, and it has range too. Okay, what else got upgraded for him though? Boride. This is his shield, right? Consumed 15% of his own HP to reduce damage taken 50% for himself 3 times. This was a good skill. This was one of his best buffs. It's really nice. The EX upgrade here, the upgrade to this skill is very, very good. The 15% HP consume is removed. That's great, because casting, like, consuming your own HP to make yourself tankier, yeah, that sucked. So now it does that. It also decreases AP consumption 25 for himself. Really, really nice. This is a great upgrade to a skill you were probably going to use anyway. Blasting Zone upgrade. This is from his master ability. Check this out. It had a casting time on it before. That's what's getting taken off. This is a 220% modifier slashing attack. One of his hardest hitting moves. The thing that sucked about it is a lot of times he couldn't use it. He'd run up to an enemy and like before the AI changed to not do this, he'd be like, oh, I'm going to hit you really hard. And then they'd move and he'd whiff. And you're like, oh my God, what is wrong with this guy? Then when the AI changed and they would no longer channel at targets that were going to move, he just wouldn't use the skill very much because it would get dodged. Taking the casting time off of it is nice. Nothing else changes. So it's still a really hard hitting move. It is still slash. Slash is fairly easy to resist, so that sucks. Okay, anyway, Rough Divide stays the same. Blasting Zone 2 is his new job level 25 ability. It is a defense debuff, so minus 30 defense for 3 turns for the targets. AoE, nice ranged AoE attack right here, 165% modifier. This is a good move. It is a defense debuff though, not a defense penetration buff to himself. The difference there being, there are units like Charlotte in the game, for example, that are very resistant to debuffs. So defense penetration I value more than a defense debuff for PvP. However, light slashing is a popular thing for PvE, and a defense debuff for PvE can often be really, really good, so keep that in mind. His Gunbreaker subjob doesn't change very much. The notable skill here for me is Heart of Stone. It's a 25 defense buff that you can cast on allies. This used to be really good. I think there was a time where this was way more valuable. Now we have access to things like Jube's TMR, or units like Marrier More that can buff defense as well. So it's maybe lost a little value. I still think a 5-use defense buff is decent. I would probably stick with his new shield though for my main TP buff. Other than that, Dragoon sub gives him the mixed damage type with some pierce, and Red Mage gives you, well, it gives you, you know, stuff. It gives you Red Mage, which is sort of bad. So, is Thancred somebody worth picking up? Again, the theme of this video is ease of access. You're going to get him for free on day 7 of this collaboration. You're also going to be picking up summon tickets through this collaboration that have a chance of dropping his shards or duplicates of him. He has a bingo board, and look, take this guy to 99 for the TMR in my opinion, and if you want to push him to 120 because you think he's cool and you want to use him and you want to invest your blossoms and elemental mats, I don't think you're going to have to spend very much on his shards. Maybe nothing at all. Personally, I'm not going to have to spend anything at all just based on the login rewards and already having him at level 99. So ease of access, I'm going to give Thancred a big A for ease of access during this collaboration. Worth building, I've heard he's decent. JP YouTubers like Umber Race have said he's pretty good. We will see in Global. He has a lot of fans. He will probably get EX by a lot of people, and I might even do it as well. Okay, we need to talk about the other unit getting an EX upgrade here, and that's Yshtola. Here's the deal with Yshtola. Her stat increase is massive, right? Her HP goes from 1,000 to 2076. It doubles. Her magic goes from tiny 231 to 554. She gets 4 more agility. She gets a lot of dex and luck. Look, that's good. That's what she needed. Here's the deal with Yshtola. We're all getting her for free. Her shards are out there. She's going to be really easy to build. Should you build her? That's the question. If we kind of talk about her the same way we talked about Thancred, I don't think her TMR is particularly worth investing in. I know there is a increased value in TMR weapons now that we can tweak them out. I just don't think hers is particularly great. It does have magic on it, which is cool, but whatever. Her master ability gives her a ton, though, right? She's going to be a defense penetrator, right? Spirit and magic resist penetration, a big deal for EX Yshtola. Note she's going to get the HP buff for fire allies and confusion resist buff for fire allies. She's getting the elemental buff, but she's an MR unit, so those are typically different. For her, that means an HP and confusion resist buff. She gets TP for herself, which is something she's always had, which is, you know, awkward. She gets acquired AP up. She's always had that. She gets magic resist pin 30 right here. She gets magic 20, which was contributing to that big magic stat we saw on her stat screen, and 20 spirit penetration. So right off the top, you see she's going to be penetrating magic resist, penetrating spirit. What does her upgrade look like? Hinokian's here. This is her support ability from her unique job. Is no longer just a magic buff. It is also 30 more magic resist pin and 25 accuracy. Holy cow. If this was a support ability on a UR unit, it would be like next level OP. It's really, really good. It's like, that's damn good skill. It's just on Yshtola. So it's tempered by the fact of who it's on. You know what it is. Now, the rest of her support abilities aren't that good. You probably run like magic resistance here. Yeah, but she has one really good one. That's good for her. Now let's look at what else got upgraded on her here. Xenoglossy got an upgrade. It is her single target fire damage attack, 220% modifier. Now it's 40x human killer. 40. That's insane. Like, that's a very, very good change to this skill. I like that one a lot. And then her new job level 25 ability increases magic resist pin by another 40. Is she at 100? That's 40 plus 30, that's 70, yeah, plus another, what, 30. So if she's running this support ability, right, and she casts her job level 25 ability, she's going to have 100% magic resistance penetration. She won't care about it at all. It's also a very long range AoE attack with 185% modifier. Whoa, like I said, she's a defense penetrator. Okay, now, is she good enough for PvP? Remember, she does have White Mage sub. A lack of full life in here is noticeable, but Holy gives her access to a 100% attack that is off element, so that's pretty cool. There's heals in there. Look, here's my TLDR about Yshtola. Completely free to get and get shards for. Will take an investment in elemental materials and blossoms if you want a 120er. I do think there is a value here, though, for PvE specifically. Not necessarily for boss fight PvE, but there's a reason to have an elemental team of 5 of every element right now. You get rewards for clearing nightmare level quests with each element, right? You get XL Magicites, you get Gill Snappers, etc. She could be a nice 5th, a nice little splash in to a team that maybe had 3 or 4 strong units. She could be a good 5th. She's really easy to build. Her EX upgrade is amazing. She just was starting from Yshtola. I've gotten use out of her in my time. In things like Tower, I will not necessarily be upgrading her because my fire squad is I have 5 units that are better than her. A lot of people won't, and I think that's where her value is going to be. Okay, that's the 2 units. That's kind of my thought on them. Next, let's talk about the vision cards, because there are there's 4 vision cards coming out, right? And some of which are really good. Let's start with Scions of Shadow. This is a card I wish that I had many times because of the party effect on it. Note this gives light attack up 35 as a party effect, and keep in mind we're getting double vision card equips coming up in the future. The big theme of all of the vision cards for me is literally going to be how easy are they going to be to get. If there's some really simple guaranteed way to get this thing and a lot of free shards, I will consider building this one. The stat line on it is really good. It has HP, attack, and magic kind of split, so about anybody can equip it. It would be very good in an anti-dark squad, obviously with the single unit and group dark resist buff, but mostly I would like to have this card for the party effect light attack up. We are also going to be getting Bringers of Shadow. This is a fire vision card made to be worn by a magic user. Notice that big 488 HP and 140 magic. Crucially, this does not have a third stat. It's an older vision card and therefore I think shows some of its age in the not having a third stat. The unit effect and party effect here are weird, or at least don't work together in the way a lot of them do. The unit effect is a magic buff. The party effect is an attack buff and pierce resistance buff. Now, fire already has access to Ifrit for a fire party effect attack buff. This is made to be worn on somebody like a Minwu, or somebody who is like supporting an otherwise physical fire team. In that case, it could be good. Maybe a King Mont, Setia, Minwu squad could take advantage of this card. Personally, I think I have this card at like level 1. I won't be focusing on building it unless it is like completely just given out to us. There's also the MR card. I believe this one will be free, or at least has been free in the past. I'm hoping that it's free again. Stats, again, kind of split between attack and magic. Decent HP for an MR card, and notice it has dark attack. We do already have access to Omega as a UR version of a dark attack card in this game. Not everybody will have that. And if this is free and free to build up, it could be a really cool vision card to add to your dark lineups. It's a like dark versus dark vision card, which is weird too. The unit effect, dark attack up with a light resist debuff, party effect, dark resistance up, strike resistance up. So like the unit effect is nice to boost up a stat. I don't know. This card's always been kind of weird to me, but I built it because it was free. I'm pretty sure I got this thing for free, otherwise I wouldn't have built it. Then we do have the new vision card coming out, and for that one, I'm going to go into the client here because this is what we've seen about it so far. It is another light element vision card that's going to be very, very strong. If there was one thing I would suggest picking up, even if it did cost you 10,000 Visior and then some more to build, it might be this card. Light Slash is everywhere. Elena, Rob, Engelbert, light slashing units are around. Check out the party effect on this. Slash attack resist piercing up, max HP up, magic attack resist up. That is a banger of a party ability. Limited bestowed effects, light units attack up, dark attack resist down. Okay, that's rough. But then critical hit rate down is, I'm sorry, dark attack resist up, critical hit rate down. The critical hit rate down I don't love. Dark attack resist up is very nice. Words, yes, words are hard. Then Thancred gets a nice max HP buff from this. If you're planning on running Thancred, very necessary card here, especially because of the slash attack resistance penetration. Most of Thancred's attacks are slash attack. Does have access to pierce, but you kind of want him to be able to use his slashing moves. Here you go. This kind of unlocks that. It's also a very good card for Elena. You just probably don't want her wearing it. You'd probably rather have someone else in your group like Thancred, maybe, wearing this. Oh man, imagine having... It's weird to imagine that Thancred might be like seen in the game again. Personally, I'm kind of excited for that. I just think this card's good. Yshtola also gets a buff on it, but like, don't run this card on Yshtola, you're trolling. And that's it. Okay, so that's what we're getting. I want to reinforce here that like the big theme of this is ease of access. Let's see. Tomorrow we're going to get to look at the banners. Of course, I'll do a video like breaking them down, and I'll kind of give you at that point what the beginnings of my polling plan for this collaboration is going to be. Do keep in mind, Yshtola's free on day 1, Thancred's free on day 2. So even if you get lucky and like hit a bunch of Thancred shards, I wouldn't run to a banner and pull for him. Just be a little patient. You're going to get the guy on day 7. How easy it is to build him should determine where you're going to take him. I do recommend at least taking him to level 99, and the vision cards, particularly the 2 UR light element vision cards, I think are good, with the emphasis on double vision cards being equipable. very soon. Okay, that's the video, you guys. There was a lot to digest there. I hope it was useful for you. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like, subscribe, all those things I almost always forget to say. But I always remember to say thank you for watching, because that is the #1 way to support the channel. Watch the videos. Appreciate y'all. Have a great day. Peace.